What's up, YouTube? It's Richawd back with another video. All praises to the Most High. Listen to me, man. I don't know. It's a lot of energy flowing through me right now. Shout out to my barber, man. I just came from my barber, and he's one of the people in the know. And bro, like, I can't explain it, but I understand now, bro. It's like I just got so many downloads right now, bro. Like, I feel like I'm radiating, bro. Like higher, bro. Like. Understand this, bro. I know this may sound crazy to a lot of people. I'm not worried about y'all. You know, God just put it on my spirit right now. I must make this video and I must warn the people because I have to get the blood off of my hands. There's a lot of bloodshed that is about to come. You know, like I said, this may sound crazy talk. This may sound like fear mongering. But what I'm about to explain to you right now, those who are meant to know, something told me I need to warn y'all. You know, God, he put out certain prophets and certain messengers, and I feel like I'm a messenger, and it was put on my spirit to warn y'all because we are in the end days and something drastic is around the corner, right? Let me explain. It tells you in the Bible that can two walk together unless they be agreed. Understand this. There is a war right now. People of God are being hunted. Prophets of God are being silenced. There are people being imprisoned. I'm not going to say any names, but there are certain prophets who have come out and brought out truth. They're being imprisoned. They're being sabotaged. Their money's being taken away. It's certain YouTubers that I followed and they got me into the truth. They had to get off of YouTube. They disappeared off of YouTube. And all they ever did was bring out the truth, the real truth. Understand this. People that are really bringing out the truth, real rebels, are in jail or they're dying, bro. Understand this, bro. It's a war. People will be destroyed for lack of knowledge. But like I said, I'm taking the blood off of my hands by telling y'all this right now. And those who are meant to listen will hear my voice, bro. I don't speak like this all the time. Y'all need to listen, bro. Because those who don't listen, you will be destroyed for your ignorance or for your lack of knowledge. But if you're listening to this right now, you can't say you didn't know, bro. Understand this. What's coming? The dollar is about to crash. You wonder why everybody feels like everything is being stacked against them. Everything is being inflated. You got these people going crazy, mass shootings. Understand there are portals that are being opened. There are spiritual portals that are being opened and powers that are being unlocked. And the powers that be are in fear of this. That's why they're building bunkers. That's why they're getting their armies prepared. That's why they're getting AI prepared. That's why they're getting smart cities prepared. That's why they're getting the chip prepared. And the chip is going to be the main thing. COVID was the test run because they wanted to bring the chip out in 2020 because around 2020 portals were being opened and a lot of people were coming into the truth. Around 2020 I started coming into the truth. A lot of people were waking up and coming into the truth. So what did they have to do? They had to shut the world down because we were radiating too high. Too many people were waking up. Too many people were seeing through the bullshit. You heard what Kyrie Irving said. He said these celebrities don't got the power they got no more because people are waking up. We see through the bullshit. These celebrities don't got power over us. We see how they're being enslaved and work like dogs, got to stream every single day, can't take a day off. Even in the Bible, it tells you should take one day off. They got these streamers that they get you to look up to. They got a dog and put 3, 4, 5, 20 videos out a day just to stay afloat because they're slaves. They're here to program you, right? They're here to program you. There is a war. There is a war that is very near. That is very near. Powers are being unlocked. Powers are being tapped into. In 2020, they wanted to bring it out, but they wasn't sure. So they brought a test run out. They brought out COVID. They brought out vaccines, right? A lot of people were against the vaccines at first. A lot of people didn't get it. Everybody in my household was against it at first. But I'm the only one out of my entire household who didn't get it, right? Because what they started to do, if you want to go to school, hence, this is why I dropped out of school. If you want to stay in this school, you got to get the jab. And allegedly, I went there, you know, but let's just say, you know, allegedly there was some faulty documentation. Allegedly there was. Allegedly. That could be a lie. I could just be talking. Allegedly there was some faulty paperwork. But with the second semester, they brought out another vaccine that you had to get. And I wasn't going to get that vaccine. So for all you people wondering why I dropped out of school and why I hated school, also every week we had to get tested. And they was putting those little needle things up your nose every day. And I got tired of that shit, bro. I knew it was nonsense, bro. I knew we shouldn't be tolerating this, bro. You know? And what's gonna happen, bro? Just like how they forced that on the people, because no matter what people say, all you people that went out and got the jab, bro, you did not want to get it at first. A lot of y'all did not want to get it at first. You were listening to a lot of these scientists and doctors that were saying this is the normal time frame for one of those things to be developed, and this is how quickly they're developing it. And it brought light to the people that were saying that they're trying to block this new information, this new RNA, this new DNA that we're tapping into, that they're scared of. That's why you got certain people going crazy on the demonic side, but it's people on the godly side that are really going to wake up. But it's a narrow few. They had to tie it down to see who those narrow few were. And understand, certain people will be destroyed for lack of knowledge. Certain people, you don't understand, they're coming after your melanin. They need your melanin. That's why they killing off so many black people, so many black idols, so many black celebrities, even though we shouldn't idolize, but our black people, they're killing us off because they need to study our brains. They need to study our psychology. They need to study our spirit. They study our bodies, right? That's why a lot of the bodies of these celebrities, we never see them. Why don't we ever see the bodies, right? Because they're keeping the bodies and they're studying them and they're cloning them, bro. Right? Understand this. The reason why they're poisoning us with the food is because there are dietary laws. There's certain food that you're supposed to eat so you can be tapped in. Understand that they programmed us to not be tapped in. And if you are tapped in, they call you crazy. They isolate you. They destroy you. Understand, they're coming to destroy God's people because they're scared of Armageddon. They're scared of what's to come. That's why they have to crash the dollar. The dollar is all they got. What did they do to control people during 2020? They told you, if you want to go to school, why do people go to school? People go to school for the dollar so they can make money. If you want to go to school, you got to get this jab. They told people at their job, what do people need at their job? What do people worship at their job? Money. That's the control. That's the power, the control they had over them. If you want to keep your job, you got to get this jab. So there's a lot of people that was against the jab. And there was certain people like me was begging my people in my household, don't get that shit. Don't get that shit. Be a rebel. We can make it. We can find a way. But they didn't want to take that risk, right? There's a lot of people just aren't ready, bro. They aren't ready. So I'm telling you, when they bring out these chips, bro, what these chips are going to do is it's going to find out who has that power, because it's going to be a certain time when the war breaks out and certain people are going to get spiritual powers. You know, like in the superhero movies, that's about God's people, right? They're going to stack the deck against us. Just like now, they're stacking the deck against us. They're silencing people. They're imprisoning people. They've been killing off our people for years. So the deck is going to be stacked against us. It's going to be a miracle that is going to happen. God is going to give us certain spiritual powers. Like I said, he gave Satan the power over the world. He gave Satan the power over the flesh, but he gave his people spiritual powers. So we're going to be outnumbered. They're going to have armies. They're going to have AI. They're going to have cameras. They're going to have drones. They're going to have all that shit, but we're going to have spiritual powers. Just like in the Matrix, he was dodging bullets. We're going to have spiritual powers. They're going to put a bullet through us and we're still going to be walking. We're going to have spiritual powers in this war. And they're scared of that. And they're trying to get as many people on their team as possible, but they will still be destroyed. They will still be destroyed by God's people. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to get as many people on their side as possible and hope that they can completely, what they want to do, they don't want 10% left off. They don't want 5% of chosen, because even 1%, even 0.5% of the chosen would destroy all of them through God, through our spiritual powers. It can be the whole world against it could be 144,000 chosen ones left and the whole world against us. And those 144,000 will win the victory. We will win. We will destroy them through God. God will give us the power to destroy them spiritually. We will have certain powers, right? All the guns and all the bombs, that it's not going to matter. And they're scared of those times. So what they're trying to do, they want it to be zero. They want it to be zero. That's why they got to bring out the chips, because the chips is going to find out, all right, which ones with the melanin, because not everybody with the melanin comes from the same thing. Some people with melanin come from peasants. Some people with melanin come from kings, right? My last name Jordan, it's in the Bible. Some people say I look like God. I'm just saying. It's going to be certain people that are really tapped in. You know what I'm saying? God's people. And they want to find out who God's people are. And they want to destroy you because they know your power is going to outweigh everything. They know just one of you can influence and destroy all of them. Jesus just had 12 disciples and they felt he was too powerful. Jesus, I'm sorry, I shouldn't even call him that. Yahushua just had 12 disciples, and Yahushua wasn't white, he was black. He was a black man with dreads and a beard. All right. Bronze skin of bronze. Skin, they said he had reddish, burnt this skin. That's black, my brothers. But they give you Caesar Borgia or whatever. That's not Jesus. All you religions that got that white Jesus with that perm, that's not and his name is not Jesus. There was no J's before the 1600s. His name is Yahushua. But they want it to be zero because we have so much spiritual power, we will overtake them in the end. right? So right now they're preparing for the war, and they're trying to find all the people with the spiritual powers, all the people with the RNA, DNA, where when war breaks out, I'm telling you, when they bring these chips, there are going to be rebels. I'm going to be one of those rebels. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to be one of those rebels, and you're going to be separated from your family. I might be separated from my family. It's certain family, I'm going to tell them what's going on, and I'm going to give them an ultimatum. Either y'all with me or y'all not, because it tells you in the Bible, can two walk together unless they be agreed? You can love your family member to death, but if they have that chip in you during the rebel days, where we're going to have to live like outlaws, those of us who stand on principles, we're going to have to become tribal and find our people, be amongst our people, and we're going to live off the land and survive off the land. But you know what's crazy? Those would be the best times, because people like me who got a smoking habit, I'll be smoking weed. I'm not going to be smoking weed during those rebel times, because I'm going to be in survival mode. So you know what's going to be happening? You know what's going to be happening? I'm also not going to be eating this food. See, all the people that get the chip and they go to these smart cities and they're eating this bullshit food, they're not going to be able to tap into their DNA. They're not going to be able to tap into all 7 of their chakras. See, I'm going to be tapped into my chakras. Me and my people, my spiritual people, we're going to be tapped into all of our chakras. So we're going to be protected from the harm that is around us. And God is going to give us our daily bread, because he says the righteous, he will provide you your daily bread. See, it's a lot of people, they don't really believe. They don't really have the faith. They don't really have the faith. Right? But it's gonna be those righteous people. My bad, I just got distracted by a text message. Somebody asking for some money. The stone that the builder refused will always be the head cornerstone. They will refuse us. They will castigate us. They will hunt us. But we will always be the head. Know that. In the end, we will always be the head. Know that. God's people will always be the head. Know that. It's a lot of people, you will be deceived and you will take that chip. And during those chip days, like I said, we're going to be rebels. The people that don't get the chip, they're going to be hunted down. But God is not going to allow them to destroy us. We're going to have a protection over us. Right? And they're going to have all the things they have. And when things get real critical, I'm saying when things get real critical, this may or may not be in my lifetime, but I'm telling you, the chip times, bro, is going to bring out certain prophecies. I'm going to just leave it at that, bro. It's going to bring out certain prophecies, bro. And people are going to either be with you or against you, bro. And you're going to have to really stand on business. Because why you think it's certain people, they doing all type of mass shootings and craziness. You just see people on the news just going crazy. Schizophrenia. Some dude said, oh, he heard God gave him a voice. That wasn't God, by the way. But allegedly God gave him a voice to go shoot up his whole family. And why you think all these crazy things are happening? And then he gets in a courtroom and he's crying. It's spiritual possession taking over. It's demonic possession. It's certain portals that are being opened, and a soul that is ignorant will be taken advantage of. Satan is like a lion roaming around seeking who he may devour. Right? If you're vulnerable out here, if you're not spiritually protected out here, Satan will devour you. A lot of people will be devoured and destroyed by Satan. The spiritless, the soulless will be destroyed by Satan. But I'm telling you this, during those rebel days, we're going to start really tapping into certain powers, because that's how God is going to bring all his people together with that chip. All the people that want to fold and go to these smart cities and be controlled and be manipulated, and they can control your dreams, and they can control what you're thinking. They can control how you feeling. It's going to be the rebels that be like, F these jobs. I'm not getting that chip. Oh, I can't work this job without this chip. Well, I won't be working this job. Right? It's going to be the rebels. It's going to be the same people during 2020 who was like, oh, I can't go to school if I don't get that. Oh, well, I'm dropping out then. Oh, I can't work here if I don't get that. Oh, well, I'm not working there then. It's going to be like that, bro. It's going to really be like that, bro. And you're going to be separated from people, but this is going to be all God's doing. God is going to put all the heathens and all the ignorant and all the deceived and all the people under the strong delusion. He's going to put them all in a smart city together, and they're going to eat each other alive. AI may mess around and start malfunctioning and destroying them niggas. Who knows, bro? They getting in the AI taxi, and the AI taxi malfunctions and drives off of a cliff somewhere. It's gonna be all type of random, crazy, unknown shit happening, bro. And God's people, we gonna be out somewhere in the woods, living humbly, living within our means, eating 1 meal a day, strong, vibrant, surviving, protected. That's how we gonna be living, bro. And there's going to be a lot of people don't want to live like that. There's going to be a lot of people don't want to leave their job. They don't want to leave that money. But that's what it's going to come down to, bro. You know? But, yeah, man. I just had to get that message out to you. Just give me a second. I'm finishing up something. All right.
It's just that one or something, so you're done.
All right. Damn, I was trying to get this video done, bro. I'm in a flow state, bro. I can't be interrupted right now, bro. I'm sorry. Can't be interrupted right now. I got to get this off. That time is near, bro. That time is near. We're going to have to arm ourselves. We're going to have to govern ourselves. We're going to have to protect ourselves. And like I said, we will be spiritually protected. Right? They're going to have all these weapons, but what does it say in the Bible? No weapon formed against thee shall prosper. Do you believe that when you read it? If you say you believe that, you shouldn't be scared when these times come. You should be ready. You should know you're going to be all right. Whether physically or whether spiritually, you're going to be all right. Okay? So, when the dollar crashes, these things are going to happen. I may sound crazy now, but y'all going to be looking at me as a prophet later on. Y'all going to be looking at all the people who have been telling you this as prophets later on. When the dollar crashes and people start panicking and they bring in that new one world religion, one world government, and they enforce these chips on people. And they Kyrie Irving the people that don't get it, you know. You lose your job, you lose your reputation. They put some charge on you and throw you in jail. When those times come, bro, God is going to unite his people. Even if they start throwing all the people in jail who don't want to get the chip, now it's going to be a bunch of people in jail who are righteous. So God, like I said, is going to be all God's doing. See, Satan is going to be trying to separate us and divide us and destroy us, but God is going to be bringing us together. Right? But I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, bro. These motherfuckers keep interrupting my video. I told them give me a second, but it is what it is, bro. But y'all heard what I said, bro. Them times is near. Get ready. Get your people. And understand that a divide will come. Peace and love. Yo, I just want to throw this clip in at the end. My bad, bro. I just kept getting interrupted. What I wanted to leave y'all with is this, bro. You shouldn't be fearful of what's coming, bro. Just be warned. I have to warn y'all, bro. So the blood, like, it's going to be bloodshed, bro. It's going to be bloodshed, bro. I can just see. Like I said, 2020 showed me everything I needed to know. I saw the mentality. I saw what would make people fold, and it's money. That's the last thing they have. That's the last thing they have to control you, but that's being destroyed. So what do they have to bring in? They have to bring in something else to control you. And that will be the chip, bro. You know, that will be the chip, bro. Where they can monitor you, they can track you, they will literally control you, right? And they're going to be figuring out who has certain DNA, who is tapped in and don't know about it, who's the Neo out the Matrix that don't know about it. We need to get rid of as many Neos as possible. We don't want a full army of Neos. That's tough. We saw in the movie just one Neo took them all out. We need to find all Neos. You know how they was hunting down Neo? He came and found him and he said, if you want to live, you're going to listen to everything I say. Instead of being on the phone, it's going to be God giving you spirit. If you want to live, he going to tell you where to move when they hunting us down, bro. And we going to move. You know, like the Moors. We going to have to get back to being tribal. We're going to start communicating differently. This language is a curse that was given on to us. Right? We're going to find our language. We're going to start speaking in Hebrew again. Right? See, what it was, they didn't understand us. It was a barrier between us because our language was so diverse. You know, we damn near could communicate telepathically. Right? So they had to dumb down our language. They had to dumb down our mind. They had to dumb down our spirit to put us more on their level, so they can compete. That's how jealous and insecure they are of us. They know when we're fully tapped in, they can't compete with us because we're supernatural. We're God's people. They have power over the earth, but we have certain spiritual powers that they can't comprehend. We have the salt that they don't have. We have the sauce. And that's why they've been destroying so many of us. So many of us are deep thinkers, are Malcolm X's, you know, are deep thinkers, bro. Our people were really something to say. And they study the bodies, bro. They study the bodies, they study the mind, and what they're finding, it's a certain DNA certain people have. That's what they figured out. That's what all these scientists and stuff has figured out. It's certain DNA that we have. It's the melanin in us that gives us certain energy. Our energy levels are higher than theirs because of the melanin. And they've understood this, and they're understanding. The scientists are telling us their spirit, because they have angels just like we have angels. You know, they have prophets just like we have prophets. Their people are telling them, like, look, you know, this melanin is going to give them the same way it gives them supernatural power, or the same way it gives them more energy and really supernatural powers over us. They're going to have spiritual supernatural powers, right? And we won't be able to compete with that. We're going to be like superheroes. But the thing is, like I said, they've taken us out. They've dumbed us down. So we're not tapped into that energy, right? We're not tapped into that energy. And what they want to do, they don't want us to ever tap into that energy, because they know once we do, it's over. We reclaim our land that was stolen from us. But, you know, I got to go handle something, man, you know. It's always something, bro. It's always something. But God won't put nothing on my plate that I can't handle. And even though it be times I don't be feeling like handling it, but Lord knows I still handle it. So that's just that willpower that He will give you. Even when you don't feel like it, He'll give you the will to just will yourself through it. And when those times come, we're going to have a certain willpower. It takes a certain willpower to when the majority of the world is conforming and getting a chip and getting something forced upon us. And the people that aren't getting it are looked at as weird and crazy. It's going to take a certain type of a will and a certain type of spirit to stand on business and be like, no, to be a rebel, to be a revolutionary, to stand for something, to live for something, to believe in something, to stand by principles and morals, to live orderly with discipline. Right. See, this Babylonian world they've taken out away from us. They tell you to live lustful. We got to get our lust under control. That's the main way they keep you out of your spiritual energy. You drain your energy being lustful. Right. When that energy can really tap you into some things, you know, if you don't waste it so much. Right. They got to keep your energies low. They got to keep you at a root chakra. Always just living for sex, living for women, living for vain, living for fame. But once you tap into your spiritual energy and you start getting high off life, once I start tapping into my spiritual energy and I'm getting high off life, I don't need a blunt. You know, I feel different without having to smoke to feel different. You understand? Once I get to that point, and once you get to the point where you're tapped in, you know, we're going to be a force that is going to be hunted. I need y'all to understand, we're going to be hunted. What did they do to Yahweh's son? They hunted him because of what he knew and what he was doing and the energy that he tapped into. Yahweh's son started tapping into certain spiritual energies. That's how he was able to revive people from the dead, walk on water, turn water into wine. That was spiritual energy. That's something that the devil doesn't have. That's something that the devil couldn't comprehend. So you have to destroy that. You have to destroy Yah. But Yah lived on spiritually. But I just had to add that part in with the end, bro. Yeah, but I just had to get this message out, bro. For everyone that hears it, I hope you listen. I know a lot of you won't. Unfortunately, a lot of you won't. But for those who do listen, I'm doing my job by letting you know. Don't be fearful. Don't be fearful when these times come. A lot of people gonna be fearful. And fear is what makes someone fold. Fear brings the coward out of us all. They say fatigue brings the coward out of us all, but no, fear Fear brings the coward out of us all. And you'll find out who's who and who's really a real man and a real stand-up person or a real woman when fear is involved. How do people operate when they're under pressure, when they're concerned, when they're worried? Are they still going to stand on business? Is there certain things they're willing to live and willing to die for? You're going to see a lot of people don't got them principles like you do. A lot of people aren't ready to lay it all on the wood and be a soldier on the front line like you are. A lot of people, when them times is come, they gonna duck and they gonna hide and they gonna protect themselves. They gonna destroy themselves trying to save themselves. It tells you that in the Bible. Those who try to save themselves, people are gonna try to save themselves by getting the chip, will destroy themselves in the process. A peace and love. All praises to the Most High for giving me this message.